Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would sit down with you guys and talk about primers. Okay, jumping right in. So I'm just gonna go ahead and pick up and talk about some of my favorite primers and like what I like them and use them for. So yeah, we're just gonna jump in. Let's go ahead and start with the Hourglass Mineral Veil primer. Oh, this one actually has SPF 15 in this, so that's nice. I never noticed that. So this is a jumbo size. I normally sell it in a little glass bottle with a pump on it, but I went with a jumbo. This is very, very expensive, and I kind of bought it with the Sephora VIB a long time ago, like their sale, the 20% off sale and stuff like that. So I went and bought the jumbo one. I really shouldn't have. There's no way I'm ever gonna go through this primer. It's just not my favorite. It's not that it's a bad primer. I just like other primers better for the price. So this is really good and it's nice, and it's sort of like it really does smoothen your skin and kind of prepare it for makeup and make it look really nice with your foundation on top and stuff. But honestly, it's not, I don't think it's worth the, I don't know how much is this, if it's like $59 or something like that. It's something crazy. It's really, really expensive. I don't believe it's worth that price. But is it a good primer? If you have the money and you're looking for something that kind of gives you like a soft focus filter, this is a really good primer for that, but I don't believe it's worth the high-end price. But it is a really good smoothing primer for the skin and for like, the makeup application. Next up is this Tacha Silk Canvas. I have the mini, I also have the full size, but when I went to open this, we were about to travel, so I decided to do the mini because the big one is like, it's like an oversized jar. It makes no sense. It's super huge for how much you're getting. But that being said, this is a really nice smoothing primer. I really do like it, and it has skincare properties in it as well. That being said though, like, it does smoothen, it does like mattify a little bit. I wouldn't really consider it a mattifying primer though, but it does mattify a little bit. I realized that when I use that. But if you're in the market for something like that and you don't want to pay that much money, I do really recommend the e.l.f. Universal Poreless Putty Primer, the original pink one. I do believe this is a really good smoothing and mattifying primer. So you get the 2-in-1, and I do believe this is more matte than the Tacha Silk Canvas and this one. But if you want something with more skincare properties, that will overall help your skin, hopefully, overall and over time, I mean, I would go with this if it's in your price range, of course. But this is really, really expensive. I do believe the results are pretty comparable to the e.l.f. Poreless Putty at, I don't know, like a 1/7 of the price. It's extremely different. Like, I think this is like $52 and this is like $8. So, it's really, really, the price difference is excessive. The results are really similar, other than, the skincare properties and this one that this one does not have. But I mix around my primer so much that I would never see the skincare benefits of something like this. I'm not saying they don't exist. I know the ingredients are in there. I just don't use it enough or often enough to see the results, because I like to mix and match a lot, or bounce between them. I keep doing that and my ear looks funny. Okay, next one is this Revlon Pore Reducing Primer. This is an OG favorite of mine for a really, really, really long time. I love this primer. I think it's so, so good. The pink one, make sure you get the pink one, not the white one. There's a white one. I don't think that one's just as good. Everyone really recommends this one over the other Revlon primers that are similar to this bottle and stuff. I mean, it just really is really good for smoothing the skin, like your pores, your fine lines, anything like that. It's a really good smoothing primer. This does not do anything else though, so like it's not very it won't prolong your makeup, it won't mattify your skin. It's just a like pore filling primer or smoothening primer. So that was everything that was kind of like a smoothening property. Yes, these two have a little bit of mattifying, so I kind of wanted to go over the next category, which is mattifying primers. These are ones I really recommend for those of you with oily skin and want something that would help you prolong the finish, like if you want a matte finish all day, and like, you know, prevent your oils from coming through and breaking down the foundation. Starting out with this e.l.f. Matte Putty Primer. I think this one's good, but I think this one's better. So I think if you're in the market for something that's just mattifying, I would still buy this one just because it has the pore filling properties to it. Oh my goodness. Oh, my brain was having a brain fart. Okay, so I do like this one, and I do believe it mattifies my skin, but I still believe this one mattifies my skin even more, and it has the kind of skin smoothening properties that this one does not have or aren't as noticeable. So out of those two, I would recommend this one just because you get like kind of like a 2-in-1 primer versus that one. I do believe it just kind of mattifies a little bit. It's not even, I don't even consider it as good as this one, but I mean, if you just need something to mattify your skin like a little bit, not like super mattifying, you know, that is, I do recommend this one. Like, it's mattifies a little bit. Some mattifying primers can be too mattifying, too drying, and this one is not that. So if you want something that just mattifies a little bit, this would be a good one. I'm going to go in the order of the least mattifying to the most mattifying of the primers. Next up is, they're all drugstore, thank goodness. The Soap and Glory One Heck of a Blot. This is very good primer. Again, it doesn't do anything other than mattify your skin, and it is sort of like a medium mattifying. It's not the best, but it does mattify your skin if that's something you're looking for. This is the pricier of all three that I'm going to mention in the mattifying category, but I do believe it really works. It's like a step up from the e.l.f. one, but it's still not the best at the drugstore. I'll talk about that one in a second though, but I do really recommend this one if you're, I believe they sell this at Target if you're in the market for it. I do like the consistency of this one the best though. It feels like a kind of like a thick cream. I do really like the consistency of that one over the other three that I'm going to mention. Now, my favorite mattifying primer at the drugstore, I constantly forget about it, and I don't know why. Honestly, I don't use mattifying primers as much as I used to, but last summer, I could not put this one down. And this is the new bottle because last summer, in like that range of that season, I used up a whole bottle. So it's going to be this Rimmel Stay Matte Makeup Primer. This is so good. It is so good. It holds up to my summery, oily, greasy spots like no other. Honestly, there is no high-end primer that I think is better than any of these that I just spoke of for the mattifying properties. But this one is just, it just breaks those down. Like, there's no competition. This one's better. And like, by far, why would you spend money on something that's not as good as something that you can get at the drugstore for cheaper? So this is like $5. It's a really good deal. It really holds up to my oils in the summer and in my oily spots. I really do recommend this. Like, if you're an oily skin girl or boy, whatever, get this. It's really good. I really love this one. Super cheap. I love it. It's a good one. So that was the mattifying category. Now, oh my gosh, I'm like blowing through these. Now, this is like my favorite category of primers. I used to be really into the matte and the, these two. I used to really be into those categories, both the smoothening and the mattifying. But now I'm kind of going away from that. And I'm more in the hydrating primers. So, my favorite hydrating primer of all time is this Smashbox Photo Finish Primerizer. Look how much I've used. Oh my goodness. I love this primer. I think it's the best primer. I love that it's a 2-in-1. It has a moisturizer and a primer in one. I understand this is very pricey, but if you get it on sale, if you know, if Sephora or Ulta are having a half off, or you know, Macy's has a 20% off or something, that would be a great time to kind of pick these up. This is a very expensive primer, but if you kind of take into consideration that this is a moisturizer and primer in one, and if you use it in that way, you could actually be saving a lot of money using something like this. So I love this. When I use it, my skin just feels plumper, healthier, you know, yeah, I want to say healthier again, just dewier, just moisturized, you know, it just feels really, really good when I use this one. Second to that one, I really like this Smashbox Primer Water as well. I think this is really good. Honestly, I think this is more of just a facial spray than anything else. It just makes my skin feel like healthier and plumper and moisturized as well. It's not really like anything out of the box, but I do really like this one. Something, if you just want something quick to kind of bring moisture back to your face before you put makeup on, I do really recommend this. And it's an OG favorite. It's not just my favorite, a lot of people really like this one too, so there's a cult following. It's good. I don't know how to describe how good it is, it's just good. Something more affordable than that though is this really nice Wet n Wild Coconut Photo Focus Primer Spray 3-in-1. It's a primer and a setting spray in one. I don't really use this after my makeup because it does have like an intense spritzer. The way I use this is I spray this over my face and I kind of use a beauty sponge and kind of press it into my skin. This one's dirty, I used it today. But that's kind of how I use that, but I would not use it after because the spritzer is kind of harsh. But as a primer spray, I would use that. It's a really good hydrating. I do feel nice and refreshed before I apply makeup when I use this. Now the last one for hydrating is this Too Faced Hangover X Proactive Nourishing Primer. Oh my goodness, this is an OG, you know, really popular for a really, really long time for great reasons. I do really love this primer. This was one of my OG favorites for a really long time. This is my second one, and the only reason I stopped using it was because of these, my OG favorites, and then I moved on and graduated to something like this. But I did really love this one. The reason I love this one though was because after I would use it like the next day, my skin would feel so good and healthy and plump. Like I would never notice like a difference when I put it on at first, but the next day my skin looked so good. So I knew it was this though, because every time I didn't use it, the next day my face was normal or my skin was normal. But every time I use this, the next day my skin looks amazing, and I love this. Makes my skin feel really nice and refreshed and healthy. So I need to use this more and kind of just use it up. It's almost there. I need to just use it up. Now the last category is kind of that one, but not as much. It's more of a dewy, like luminous primers. And I'm going to start with this Catrice Nude Primer Glow. It's an illuminating primer. It's a really nice, just glowy, healthy primer. I really like this one. It has pomegranate oil. Interesting. It has a slight tint too. It's just a really nice illuminating dewy primer. It's just if you want that like glowy primer. Same with this Milani primer. This one's more shimmery. Like it's gonna have more of that glittery glow. But if you're kind of into that, this is a really good one too. I do like this one, but it does make my skin have like this creamy consistency after I'm done. So if you hate that, I wouldn't recommend this one. I would go for something like the next one I'm about to talk about, or the Catrice one. But this one does have like a lotiony feel after you put it on, but it's a really nice dewy primer if you just want that glow and that, you know. The next one I'm going to talk about is this Wet n Wild Photo Focus Hydrating Primer. I guess this was the last. I believe this is more of a dewy primer. If it has hydrating properties, it's awesome. But this one even has little bits of shimmer in it too. It's really nice and really hydrating. It just feels like you're adding water to the face. I know that sounds crazy, but I guess that is the hydrating category, but it does give you also like a dewy finish, so I guess this one's kind of out of order. But this is a really good hydrating slash dewy primer. I do recommend that one as well. Really, really nice. Feels really good on the skin, and it's super affordable. It's 11 bucks, but this will last you forever. It's a really nice packaging as well. It's glass with a dropper and stuff. It's so nice. Okay, I ramble way too much. Okay, lastly is this Catrice Prime and Fine fixing spray. I kind of use this more of a setting spray, but this is a really, really good primer spray as well if you really want a glowy look to your skin. If you have a foundation that you don't like because it's a little too mattifying, I would go with this before you put it on, or even after, you know, like a fixing spray, or it is a fixing spray, but like a setting spray, and it would also bring some dew back into your skin. But it is a primer and setting spray, so I do really like this one as a primer spray as well when my skin is feeling a little drier than usual. I have combination skin. I have dryness around my mouth, and I have oil in my T-zone. So sometimes when my skin is a little bit drier, my dry areas tend to look a lot worse. I will spray this on a sponge and kind of tap it into the areas that are kind of super dry and crusty and gross, because you know, skin. But yeah, I really do enjoy this one. It's a 2-in-1. I really like that. And the mister, oh my goodness, I'm just gonna like show you guys. It's just a beautiful like I don't know if you guys that came up on camera or not, but I enjoyed it. But it's a super soft mister. It makes me mad when brands like, you know, Wet n Wild have a crappy like mister, because I know brands like Catrice that are also really, really affordable. This is like twice the price of this though, so this is like $4, this is like $8. But the mister on this is better than a lot of like, this mister is better than the Smashbox one. This is a good mister too, but this one's even better. It's super fine, super nice. It's not gonna ruin your makeup. It's not gonna spit out at you and put little watermarks in your foundation. Like it's such a good, nice mister, and hands down, they need to share the patent on that spray. It's so nice. But yeah, it's a really good primer spray and setting spray if you know you're in the market for just one that does it all. If you really like dewy finishes, it's a really good one. So real quick, I wanted to run down what's best kind of for every skin type. So of course your hydrating primers, I believe, are good for every skin type. If you're normal, oily, dry, combination like me, where you're oily and you're dry, these hydrating ones are so good, hands down. You can't go wrong with stuff like this. I would really recommend these. Also this one, since this one I put in the wrong category. Anything that says hydrating, I wouldn't be scared of if you're oily, just because usually the thing with oily skin is that your skin is trying to bring moisture back into your skin by producing your natural oils, and it kind of overproduces because you lack hydration. So if you hydrate your skin, whether that be a moisturizer at night or before your makeup, which I do both at night and before my makeup, and I do believe that has helped my oily areas a ton. Am I still oily? Yes, but it's nowhere near as bad as it used to be before I started like really hydrating my skin every day, or making sure that it was hydrated every day. So yeah, but hydrating primers and products in general, really good for all skin types. Now dewy I would recommend for normal and dry if that's the finish you want. If you're even like me, that like I'm combo and you just want a dewy finish, go ahead, have a dewy primer, that's fine, or a dewy foundation. But I do still recommend those more for normal to dry, you know, dewy primers. So like the ones I mentioned, the dewy spray, this soft glow Milani primer, and this Catrice illuminator primer. And now for the mattifying ones, that's more of like, I believe, like finish. If you have oily skin, I understand that you would want something more matte. Even if you don't, you can go dewy, that's fine. You're just gonna have to work with it a little bit to make sure it lasts on your oily skin. But finish is really preference. Like hydrating, I believe everyone should hydrate, but honestly finish should be all about what you need, or what you want from your product. I am combination oily. I still like a nice dewy primer and foundation. Like, it just depends on the day, honestly. So, you know, take these with a grain of salt. I'm just giving you guys advice, but honestly, you can just go for whatever finish you really want. Again, if you have like normal to dry skin and you want a matte look, I would go for this. I wouldn't go for the other ones. I feel it'd be like too dry on your skin. But if you like a matte look on your skin, this is about as rough as I would go. These other ones I think are too matte, and if you have really oily skin and you want to be matte, I would go for these two. Now, again, the other ones I would use only if you have like texture problem, fine lines, or if you also want to go for something matte like this. This one's a little more matte, but I've heard that on normal to dry skin, this one's a little too matte. But if you kind of just use this one in the areas that you need the texture, like the filling of the textures and stuff, your pores, your fine lines and stuff, I do probably still recommend this, but maybe just go with a light hand if you have normal to dry skin. If you have really oily or combo skin, I would just use this like a normal primer. I really do recommend this one. And these other ones, this one I think would go for anybody, the Hourglass one. I don't think it's too harsh or too strong for any skin type. It's just a really nice smoothening primer. It's not, like I said, it's not really mattifying too much. So I think it can be used for anybody with texture issues that wants a little more smoothening effects. So that's a good one for that. And then these I think are really good for, again, for like the smoothing of the skin. If you have really troublesome pores like I do, I recommend this one the most. Really quick, I forgot to talk about one. I put it in the middle so I wouldn't forget. It's kind of its own category. So I talked a lot about primers and their finishes, but I forgot to talk about, you know, primers that prolong your makeup. And honestly, there's not that many. There's only one that I've really heard about. I haven't really used this one, so don't hate me. But it's the Milk Makeup Hydro Grip Primer. I have heard so many good things about this, so I bought it. You guys are gonna recognize it. It's this one. They do sell a mini, so if you're kind of hesitant about trying it, I would, you know, buy the mini. This one I believe is really good for prolonging your makeup based on what I've heard from people. So if you don't have texture problems and stuff like that, but you just want something that will last all day through work and stuff like that, if you work 2 jobs and kind of need something to go from 8 a.m. to 10 p.m., you know, something like that, I would recommend something like this. I hear really great things. I'm sorry I don't have personal experience with this one, but I'm really excited about trying this one. I really hope it's good. I do recommend you trying the mini maybe. I got this one on sale. Milk Makeup had a 30% off, so I didn't pay full price for it. But I do really recommend if you're on the market for something, maybe not so much texture for your skin, maybe something just to prolong your makeup, I do recommend something like this. If none of these other ones kind of meet your needs and you just want something that kind of holds your makeup all day long, primers. The Milk Makeup Primer. But also the primers that kind of fit your skin needs should help prolong your makeup. Like obviously a matte will help with an oil, just because usually oil will break down your foundation. So if you do a mattifying primer, it should prolong the length of your makeup, you know, and it goes both ways. So that is it for today. I just wanted to kind of cover primers. That's kind of like a big topic. Usually when I talk to my friends and family and they ask for advice, you know, second to foundation, it's usually mascaras, and then foundations, and then primers. So I just thought I would recommend those for you guys, since I already did my foundations, I already did my mascaras. So lastly was primers, you know, the big heavy hitters, and maybe I'll go over some other ones, but for now that is it. And thank you guys so much for watching. Be sure to like my video and subscribe to my channel if you have not done so already, and let me know in the comments what you guys want to see next. And thank you guys so much. Stay safe. I love you guys. Bye.